Is this a new beach house?
It's amazing to see in your own life and to read articles written on the community deserts. It's really these places and this mindset where people are looking at their phone or they're looking at their shoes and they fail to truly connect with one another.
Hopefully the space will ultimately be a catalyst in helping to build community in Seattle.
My eyes are up here,
The
guys.
Collective is sort of a perfect opportunity for me to interact and meet with like-minded
they're the new Yeezys,
creatives
eyes are up
across
here.
mediums and cultures, and
I wish everyone
come
was looking
together
at my
and
shoes.
sort of celebrate life, I guess.
I guess.
Celebrating
We
life.
needed a third place in our lives, and we really wanted a place when somebody's out surfing in their lineup, there's that brotherhood or sisterhood. When somebody's in the mountains skiing or climbing and you're on the chairlift, there's that brotherhood or sisterhood.
Dude, it's
And
that brotherhood.
we found that when you got back to the city, people got swept up in the rat race, and there was just this hectic
No brotherhood,
nature
no
to life.
sisterhood.
And we wanted a place for people to really
Work isn't like playing.
unplug,
wanted
but then
to-
plug back in and get engaged.
He wanted to
with other,
overthrow our whole
passion
work down
for
capitalist.
different passion people.
Hate your
Paradigm.
family
Great. Yeah,
and
cool.
hate work. We have
from
a
that
place
same
for
mindset of just getting up and
have no
maybe
family.
split between two
Zero
areas.
friends,
There's
zero
gonna be
family, no
Alpenglow and
problem.
High Tide. High Tide is
he's
going to be
still
a full
talking.
restaurant and bar with a phenomenal platform for great live music and collaborative workspace.
get it. It's a bar.
Alpenglow is
Yeah.
a refuge
Yeah.
from your city life. It'll have everything from a boutique bouldering gym, an artist in residence
Boutique?
studio.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I think hands down the thing I'm most
Fancy?
excited about
Expensive.
with the collective
Small.
is being able to bring in a
Small
buddy
and
or two,
expensive.
have somebody else bring their group of friends, add really cool events, and then see good ideas put into action.
Cool.
I think
cool idea.
South
Care to
Healing is
submit any
in a
examples?
really
Really
stage
cool.
of its
No, I'm sold. I don't
development.
need examples.
It's
I wanna
it's
give
been
this man all my
transformed
money
physically,
right now.
but culturally it hasn't been defined. You still have that canvas to work with in a lot of ways that maybe some of the more established neighborhoods in Seattle already have their culture set. This is a place where new people are showing up every day.
If people use the collective as their vehicle for meeting more interesting people in the city. doing
This is a
things.
cult, right?
wanna
I
sit
mean,
down in the
it just
bar
is a
and
cult.
laugh
It's
and
definitely step one.
yeah. Say, hey, what's your story?
This is
Show
just
up
like
at a place where you don't
We
know
should go.
everybody.
We
or
should
you
join.
don't
Yeah,
know
we
anyone,
we should
and you
record.
don't know why you're
from that.
going.
We should
but
actually
show
get
up with an
comps
open
somehow.
mind.
Somehow we need like an official. We need a working title for the for this podcast that we can tell people that it's called.
These guys hate Seattle too. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
that's
like,
true.
you got to get out of here. You have to
Yeah,
escape.
it's a desert.
Yeah.
It's a desert
wasteland.
city. Welcome to the Oasis, the collective. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Seattle Sucks, a podcast about hating the city we love.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Greg. I am joined here with...
Greg. This is Greg.
And this is Colin.
Hola, this is John.
All right. The usual gang, all back together, hating Seattle again. Feels good. Feels good.
Never felt better.
It's like I never left. Hating Seattle.
Yeah, so a quick little self-advertising before we get started. Check us out. We're on Twitter at Seattle Sucks Pod, and the website is, of course, seattle.sucks, where you can listen to all our episodes and subscribe on iTunes and whatever podcast app you use. So we were just kind of laughing at the latest ad for a little club in Seattle called The Collective. Very ominous, and
It is really dystopic sounding.
it just sounds like something out of like a young adult book or
But
something.
I think the truth is it's way more banal.
Yeah.
What was that sex club cult that just got like...
Oh, the one all the Hollywood folks
yeah,
were
that
in?
would have been a better name. than the
Emperor. That
Collective.
Elon Musk was.
No.
He was retweeting articles that they wrote.
Like Nvidium or something.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
better than the Collective even. But
Fidelio.
We got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
well, we should raise our hands if you hate Seattle, are lonely, and hate your home. And all of
check,
us.
check, and
everyone's
So
hands are
we're
raised.
all potential members.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Friendless, relationship-less.
But John, I'm looking to meet cool new
Rudderless.
people.
Yeah.
Is this for me?
Did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Do you need an urban base camp in your life? Man, I think this is real.
Well, I think you're a poor pitchman for this. I preferred the woman in the video.
Basically, the baseline for cool is, do you have $100 a month that you're willing to spend on a boutique rock climbing gym? And if so, you're pretty fucking
this
cool.
I get then. I'm in.
Although I feel like that's just step one. I think it's a lot of pay to play once you get in the collective. But,
oh yeah, and we should say this whole, one of the reasons that we're riffing on this is because this totally fits into our theme of Seattle being a freemium city, where easy to get into, but if you want to hang out with cool, like-minded people and be creative and shit, get prepared to pay up. It's going to cost you. Anyway, with that said, let's dig into the latest think piece from Seattle Times.
All right, so
how many Pulitzers are on the masthead?
This is an unpaid advertisement from the Seattle Times. This is what this is.
God, yeah.
This is actually their forte. Like,
yeah,
Just
totally
a sales pitch for whatever the sort of money tech bro world has come up with next.
Yeah. So the title is Joining the Collective, a new take on a private club meant to defrost the Seattle freeze. And there's this picture of this guy wearing a trucker hat, at least it looks like a trucker hat, with his hands behind his head on a giant hammock like a little baby. Okay, so High Tide, one of the newest restaurants in Seattle's Amazonia, is ready and waiting. It's upscale in a familiar urbane way. Suede banquettes and a polished concrete floor, huge windows and crystal clear sphere light fixtures, with shiny black subway tile as a tiny twist on the currently ubiquitous white ones.
A very tiny twist. This sounds basic as fuck.
Man, someone's really doing some writing here.
Yeah.
The menu hews to the latest rethinking of the restaurant as an all-day, have-it-your-way affair, including the requisite P&W cheese plus charcuterie, grain bowl, hand-ground burger, grilled daily fish, and steak frites. The bar, with lots more comfy seating, boasts a beer nerd's dream of a tap list via special arrangement with all-star local craft breweries, including Holy Mountain and Urban Family.
Okay, so far I get it. It's a restaurant.
Yeah, that sounds like a restaurant.
Sounds like your usual, latest Seattle restaurant to open.
Yeah.
Boring. Go on.
Okay, well, the space at High Tide flows effortlessly, all open air, from the suitable for impressing a client dining area to the flat screen showing sports bar zone to a capacious lounge reminiscent of a higher-end chain hotel lobby. Jesus Christ. This is the wordiest article I've ever read.
Also, is that
the New York
supposed
Seattle Times.
Do you want to hang out in an upscale hotel lobby? No, that is the last place in the world I want to be sitting around, is an upscale hotel lobby. But
Yeah, that's totally fair. Here, you can eat, drink, hang out, have coffee, work, play ping pong on a glossy table designed by a local artist.
You can work!
You can work here.
Etc. So you can fill in the blank there.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do in such an au courant third place space. I think I'm not smart enough to read this article, actually.
Yeah, there's French in it.
Yeah.
Okay. She's describing a restaurant, but also the famous and very real and in some ways cool Seattle coffee shop scene. It's a real thing. Not every city has it. You can do this everywhere in the city. You can go and basically what people use it for is, again, to work, but that exists. So
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, she says, except you can't. Not unless you're a member. High Tide is part of South Lake Union's brand new private club called The Collective. And membership has its privileges. There's the High Tide space, about 8,000 square feet as described above, along with both standing and sitting work spots. Productivity rocks, in quotes.
What is that?
Productivity.
I don't know.
Is that when you do
rocks at you?
No, that's when you do a bump of speed real quick.
No, but But it's not a bump, it's rocks. You got to put that in a pipe and smoke it.
This farm to table cocaine, handcrafted.
Just real quick, I got a productivity rock. I got to smoke.
I gotta go
Oh, wait.
rip off a productivity rock.
Well, they're explained here. They're for indicating whether you'd like service or prefer no interruptions. So they're like the indicators at a Brazilian steakhouse. Retro-looking outlets galore for device charging. Great. That's wonderful.
They have plugs?
Yeah, you can use electricity there.
They're retro looking.
And curtain alcoves for listening to or making music.
Oh, that sounds like fucking hell. Can you imagine trying to like productivity rock or whatever? Or maybe that's what a productivity rock is like that asshole next to you trying to record an album while you're trying to work.
That's the genre that he's producing. It's called productivity rock. It's music that's mixed in coffee shops and restaurants. Also, if like I was looking on Yelp for a bar to go to, if there was a filter for places where DJs are like working out their next track, even in their headphones, and I could just clear that off the slate, I absolutely would.
Then there's Alpenglow, located on the other side of the lobby's freestanding cafe, approximately 7,000 square feet of much, much more. Here, members of the collective can write their name on a rock and add it to a member's rock pile.
What?
Wait a minute. What? Why?
That sounds like some weird metaphor about how life is meaningless and
Yeah,
you're just going to be thrown
also,
into.
You know, you claim this article is so wordy, but she didn't even call it a cairn.
Well, she's not talking about food anymore,
Wait,
so I think she's
there
bored.
A story about this where like everyone has their name on a rock, and then once a year they choose a rock and they beat the person to death?
Yeah, I think that's the lottery that Jeff Bezos has been winning recently.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the lottery.
It's the other lottery.
It's the Hunger Games.
Check it out, the original lottery. Pretty fucking baller.
Okay, so after you've thrown your rock into the pile, then you can play the game Cornhole or gaze into the artist in residence's aquarium-style studio.
They have an artist in residence in a bubble.
The game Cornhole? This is the revolution of the collective? The video
I guess
is very misleading.
she had to make sure you understood she wasn't talking about any kind of sex act.
Is the collective just a frat? Like, have they just rebranded? And
You know what, though?
Holy shit.
It is new. They're trying out all this shit. They've got cornhole and a rock wall. Give it a few months, it's just going to be beer pong.
Yeah.
That's going to evolve. That's the only thing that'll sell down there.
That and toga parties.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really cool.
Or it's going to be 15,000 square feet of open floor plan office space for Amazon or something.
Yeah, that too, probably.
Okay, so Alpenglow's seating options include reclining with Pendleton blankets and or Gibson guitars in the indoor campfire circle, in quotes.
oh my God.
Wait, back up. Did you skip the part where
didn't.
the rocks are branded also? Do they have a brand name, the rocks?
So everyone gets a guitar?
Sure.
Sounds awful,
Well, you got to be making music, right?
I guess.
No, but there's nothing more annoying than the guy who's playing guitar like a little too much, and you're like, yeah, man, I get it. Like,
Yeah,
I don't need to
Now
listen
there's
to
a
your
whole
like,
bar for that.
So that's just part of the
pay
gig.
for there's $100 a month cover.
Yeah, if I want to hear somebody play guitar, I'll just go to a guitar center and then want to kill myself
so-
afterwards.
God, it's amazing what they're combining here. Like,
Y'all want to hear Satellite again?
Well, this
All right.
is... Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm just gonna sit there the whole time. Like, all right, got any requests from anybody? All right, fine. Play more Dave Matthews then.
that would be funny. We should join just to be the most obnoxious members.
Dude, but we would become the most popular people
Yeah.
there, and like it would be like this like a weird mirror, and we'd be like, wow, what we hate is actually what everyone loves.
Like, put
can't
Alex's
beat him,
rock
join him.
on the top of the pile. He fucking rules.
Oh man, what if? Oh man, like the next big like Seattle band is gonna meet at Collective.
There won't be a next big Seattle band.
Oh, good point.
This so far sounds like a commercial for Budweiser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good times with friends.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So you can hang in a cushioned egg-shaped basket chair or sprawling on the massive hammock that is the technology-free zone. There are also couches and ottomans and cushions that look like big granite rocks and a vintage ski resort lift chair. Those not inclined to lounge may climb in the boutique bouldering gym. Should the member work up a sweat, private showers with embedded speakers to plug music into await, with gender-neutral bathrooms across the way.
Ooh, that sounds sexy.
They've thought of everything.
Fuck these people. now I'm just jealous. At first I was like condescending. I was like, whatever, these assholes. Now I'm like, motherfuckers. Gender neutral showers, whatever. Playing in their fucking DJ Tiesto. Fucking A.
Alex, as a tech pro, you could join and for real. And
yeah, but I gotta like climb rocks and shit. Fuck that.
No, it's your choice. You can just sit around and play a Gibson guitar by the fire.
I'm gonna get really good at guitar.
What if you just lived there? You're just like, I'm gonna stay here for like a week.
Well, that's the funny thing. I was looking at their hours. They close at 10. Just like every fucking thing in Seattle does not stay open past 10.
So it's a big youth group.
Yeah, have fun at the bar. Oh wait, it's 9 p.m. Bar time closing.
Hey, I'm just here with my friends. We're like really gonna have a great time tonight. Oh,
last
okay,
call. It's 9:30.
I guess we'll go to the Whole
NCIS is on. It's last
you
call.
can still see the sun in the north and the west, but we're closing now.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's insane. Okay.
Awesome.
The Collective's website describes it as an urban clubhouse for the mind, body, plus soul.
Young life.
Yeah. A place where locals can craft a home and community based on common interests and shared ventures. The verbiage is plentiful, not unlike this piece. The space acts as both a base camp and a launch pad to foster interaction and meet the dynamic needs of the Collective's members and their endeavors.
Wait,
has your brain shut off yet?
This is an ad.
This is straight up a press release.
This is the article.
That sounds like a bullshit like marketing student press release. Like,
so both a base camp and a launch pad. You can't.
And it's very dynamic.
No, that's going to be the secret to Blue Origins. Like, you've got to launch rockets from the tops of mountains.
Base camp launch pad.
Nonsense.
Okay,
nonsense.
I'm sorry. I thought I was at the launch pad, but I'm at the base camp. I'm confused. I need to make it to the launch pad.
I'm just here for the showers.
Yeah, it's a base pad, launch pad, and a shower, gender neutral shower spot.
It generates a palpable energy that sparks creativity and drives positive member experiences.
This is an ad. This is an advertisement. What the fuck?
Well, in her defense, almost everything I've read has been in quotes because she's just lifting it from their website, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Well, then it is literally an ad.
Yeah, but it's in the piece.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Activities. Maybe she didn't want to spend the $100 to actually go.
We find
Just
out.
to take their word for it. Okay. Activities are strategically planned to generate dialogue and encourage informal and enjoyable interactions. So the
silence pods, the giving everyone guitars. Yeah, it sounds totally cool.
Yeah, there's
I swear that's all gonna. It's gonna be 100% beer pong in about a month.
The plugins every 5 feet. Get on your phone.
Tripping over chargers.
I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of blonde, tan, like vaguely handsome-looking men asking you if you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Just reading my copy of C.S. Lewis's On Christianity.
The screw tape letters, man.
Oh, God.
Okay, so a solemn high production video decries community deserts and extols the virtues of the Collective's intentions, which include defining the still developing culture of South Lake Union. If you listen carefully, it sounds like high concept, aspirational code for a very simple offering, the thawing of the infamous Seattle Freeze.
Well, that's her like dumb sort of take on this thing, but it's simpler than that. It is, they're trying, or I guess what they're trying to say is that they want it to be a place for a new kind of 21st century community. But the thing is, I mean, I think that does actually address a need. that is a need that needs to be addressed. I don't think this place will do that, but we are losing community. I mean, it happens in a lot of ways. I mean, gentrification is a major one, but that's nothing new. You want to talk about a community desert? Like the I-5 was plowed through all the poorest and, whenever possible, blackest neighborhoods in this city, and that's the same everywhere in America. And like we're decimating our communities in any way we can think of, whether it's just real estate development or retail going under in communities because of Walmart or Amazon or whatever. Like, that's a real need. I don't think this really addresses that.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I guess one thing I would say, sort of to your point, is, and to a joke I made earlier, what sane person wants to go live in a beer commercial, really? Like, this sounds like hell on earth to me.
Yeah, it does. It does sound fucking... I mean, it's a bar. It's like, I get that, but it's like there's no shortage of that.
Yeah.
What they're saying, I think, because it is a membership thing, it's like... Well, it's like any membership. It's like, well, once if you're paying that, then you choose to go there rather than somewhere else.
Sure.
But what their pitch on that is, like any loyalty program or membership, is, well, because of that, there will be the same people there all the time, so that you'll go, it'll be your local. But the thing is, if we weren't breaking communities in so many new and exciting ways, you can get that at any bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
Although just showing up to your local rando bar for community is pretty sad and fucking pathetic. So
not a great strategy.
Yeah. Speak for yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can just join a kickball team. It's not that hard, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need the collective to meet people.
Well, there's more, right?
Well, but the video from the collective was all about the third place. So not your home or work. It's like new, but actually hearing a description of it is like, this is just a place to go work. Like, you just need a break from the cube.
Even though it's just like every other fucking bar in South Lake Union, polished concrete floors. Okay. I love that too. I love all the decor of the 21st century. It's like, it is like lipstick on a pig, It's like everything in this sort of aesthetic of our times is a way to make like the cheapest possible construction and decoration like be trendy. And so it's like corrugated tin and concrete is like what's in right now, and everything's made of 2x4s just nailed together.
Yeah,
that's what's hip right now.
Yeah. So I have read some good news. So as we discussed already, it's $100 a month with a $100 joining fee.
Whoa!
But you can bring in 5 guests. Whoa. So if we did want to go, we just need one. Yeah. And one of us to draw the short straw.
Yeah. We could, make a collection, put one person's name down. We could even bring 2 friends. There's only 4 of us. So.
Yeah, maybe a listener out there.
Yeah. Oh, we could make that a contest.
Jenny, if you're listening, will you join us, please?
Basically, the only 2 people that listen to this podcast are Jenny Durkin and Sally Bagsh. Only in their hate listening to it.
All right, so I got to read this one. Staff set a clubhouse tone. Everyone's nearly eerily nice, and you'll never feel alone by yourself at the High Tide Bar, where the bartender's friendly, low-key banter cross-pollinates into actual patron interaction.
What? This just took a turn, though. Now this is just for very lonely people. And so it doesn't sound fun at all.
No, it sounds like you're describing what like a local pub was in some other time period. But also, if the staff is putting through that vibe, like if that's at all true, which, I mean, this is an incredible puff piece, but like you can imagine that falling away and it just being, in a few weeks, Seattle it's a bar. Job and you're a customer and this is a bar, it's like you can't keep that shit up if it's not a real thing, if it's not actually like a local neighborhood pub where the bartender lives next door and these are your neighbors, that we don't have that in America anymore because no one lives next to where they work or anything, and these bartenders are making, dramatically less money than the members of this club. I'm guessing, but
yeah.
Well, I like how she says everyone's eerily nice, and it's like, I'm sure they're just being pleasant to you.
Yeah, I don't know if it's...
I feel bad for the bartenders. They're going to get absolute psychopaths that read this and come in there like looking for their best friend, and they're going to have to pretend, man.
Or what they're going to get is like a clientele of tech bros who are like, I'm paying $100 a month for this. Like, this is a club. I feel ownership here, so now I'm kind of your boss.
Yeah.
More than even like the terrifying like American ethos of the customer is always right, but like take that to the next level of like
the Mar-a-Lago experience.
yeah, exactly. That's what. Oh God.
Yeah.
Mar-a-Lago sounds way more fun.
Yeah, this is not even. I wouldn't even compare it.
Don't just besmirch Mar-a-Lago.
Wow. Okay, I've touched a nerve. Apparently,
that would be a great name for a bar though in Seattle to open like a palm tree like bar. Call it Mar-a-Lago. That'd be great. Okay.
And then get sued immediately.
Yeah.
For trademark infringement.
Yeah, you'd be famous.
the burgers are so good.
This is the best part. Okay.
Oh, God.
This is the best part. The food review is really fucking telling. Go on.
Someone you don't know at all might say to you, that was a hypothetical, that this is her imagining what it would be like. You're going to enjoy it.
Okay, you know, first of all, she starts out, the burgers are so good. I don't think this is just a Seattle thing. Maybe it is. I think it's an American thing. I don't know how many fucking times I've heard that the burger at some place is incredible. There should be some kind of like inflation on that, okay? Because like everywhere has great fucking burgers. Yeah. Why? Because it's a burger. We live in a culture whose like culinary peak is a fucking ground beef sandwich.
Because we all want to be 6 years old again. That's what everyone's deepest desire is.
I like burgers just fine, but I'm not impressed by a fucking incredible burger. It's a ground beef sandwich. Go on, please.
All right, so meanwhile, people who would have traditionally been called the management team have titles like Experience Ambassador, Roam the Collective, making engaging look effortless.
This is an escort club. This is what I imagine a brothel to be like.
They're still figuring out how people are using the space. The preternaturally amiable Experience Ambassador, Chris Wentland, told me one evening before chatting with others sitting at the bar, then helping set up for a spirited session of food trivia in the High Tide space. Okay, so they're still working on it.
So
this is a lot of staff.
Bar trivia is their revolutionary idea. Steak frites and bar
Geeks
trivia.
Who Drink. We've got Geeks Who Drink.
Well, they're covering the mind section of their mind, body, soul mission. Oh, and the mind part is trivia.
Wait, did you join the collective while I was reading this article?
But guys,
partnership.
It's not like they have a meditation.
No, it's not. Oh, wait. Events at the collective include the likes of yoga for climbing. Wait, what? Yoga for climbing?
Well, they're not using the bouldering space. So they have to like dress it up a little bit.
You can't just yoga for anything. You have to tailor it. It's got to be boutique yoga.
Oh my God, we truly live in hell. Okay, winery and farm dinners, classes on terrarium making. Bring the kids.
Okay, now it's a cruise ship.
Oh my God, that is
like
what
little
it is.
classes for you to take during the day.
You know, the Experience Ambassador is you're gonna be like trying to just have your delicious burger and a beer, and they're gonna be like, you gotta come over and join us. It's gonna be like a cruise director.
It's David Foster Wallace. Supposedly fun thing I'll never do again.
Exactly what it is.
God.
Meditation plus tea tasting, live music, and not just by your fellow members, I'm guessing. A discussion hosted by the League of Women Voters on talking local civics to get a better understanding of Seattle's politics.
So hip.
Yeah.
So hip.
They've got their finger on the pulse. If you hang in one of the woven basket egg chairs ensconced among soft woolen pillows prior to the monthly-ish podcast of Dent Live, which comes from a community of entrepreneurs, technologists, executives, investors, vampires, and creatives who are driven to put a dent in the universe, aka skull fuck you until you're dead. It becomes clear that there's more to the event than the event, namely networking. There you go. Bingo.
Yeah,
You're paying for access.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you paid makes it a better networking thing. Just weeds out
it's a
the
barrier.
chaff,
That's all it is. Overheard. My nonprofit is kind of morphing a lot, and I want to incubate for some for-profits.
Oh, God.
I think I have
This is the cultural desert.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Fucking in
Yeah.
here.
It's
Yeah,
hell.
no shit.
I think I have your contact info from before. Are you Microsoft? Yeah. Are you a member? Okay, so it is everything we thought it would be.
Yeah, it sounds like the opposite of what it's telling us it is, right?
Yes.
It's a vampire-ish networking circle full of weird men.
Yeah, she doesn't mention this, but I'm guessing she was literally the only employee woman in the place when she went there.
Yeah.
I do really want to go now, though.
Yeah,
Just
no, I think
for 5 minutes to be like, it's exactly what I thought. And then just
Yeah.
walk out.
I think it would be like that. We'd walk in and then go, okay, and we'd walk.
we should. Okay, here's the thing.
Totally silent.
No, this is
Everyone
the
would be
thing.
in their little
Turns,
cubes, and then you'd hear like one guy plucking a guitar string, and you just slowly back out and be like, I've seen enough.
She says, as of June 4th, 6 weeks in, the collective counted 845 souls. Oh, wait, did I say souls? I meant members. I'm sorry.
Bodies.
Because it's a plane crash, am I right?
The list will be cut off at 2,000 to 3,000 total. They don't want the club to feel crowded.
Okay. What they want, right, is for like a limited number of people to be there all the time, and thus it's a community because I see the same faces. Really, it is going to be like a gym where a bunch of people buy a membership and never go, and they're going to they'd say, oh, we don't know what the number is, but they'll say, oh yeah, it's only 3. They'll sell it to like 10,000 people who never show up, and never develop that community because people come there twice a year.
Except for the gender neutral showers are always full. Just like at the gym.
Of dudes.
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
perpetually.
don't misgender them. We don't know their gender. They don't. Okay, so
I would like to know a gender breakdown of sign-ups.
Yeah.
Like 90% men.
that they don't provide, but we can read between the lines. Okay, so finally we get to the food. She's saving the best for last.
This is the best part of the whole
So how's the food at High Tide? It's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
And notably pretty.
Oh,
To be Insta-worthy, Jeff. Did you hear that, buddy? Get out there, buddy. Take some pictures of your food. As the website promises.
She's just quoting for the website.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. A big pile of crab nachos, $16, was served on stab cast iron. They suffered from rather hard blue corn chips and crab getting lost in the mix.
So they weren't that good then, what she's saying.
Yes. Well, wait, hold on. She's doing the film critic thing where she's going to now say something nice.
This whole thing, we should keep going, but it is basically a Marvel movie review.
Yes.
She's like, oh, this food's really good, and then lists why it's bad, but then tags it at the end with like, oh, but I liked it.
Yeah, that's where we're going with this next part. But we're nice and gooey with lots of cheese and bechamel. Okay, so I guess they're okay. If the seafood escabeche tasted on the bitter side, the architectural stack of avocado chips and peppery sprouts on top was gorgeous. A big hamburger, $14, unburdened by vegetation.
So wait, I didn't like the taste, but
It looked great.
It was
It looked great.
Insta-worthy.
It looked great.
It's not even a good restaurant. All this is a restaurant, and it's not even that good. Go on.
Okay, so unburdened by vegetation in favor of bacon and Beecher's flagship cheese was cooked perfectly, rosily medium rare, and came with a tin measuring cup of slightly too salty fries.
Oh, so the burger was so good, but they couldn't even do fries right.
Nope. Beignets, $9, were dense, more like cake donut holes. And cinnamony instead of under a snow of powdered sugar, but still pretty.
So they're like donut holes from Safeway.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's all definitely good and good looking enough for a client lunch.
Definitely good.
Which seems to be a prime way members are using the space. And if the clients happen to be on the old school side, a member could impress them by letting them know that the collective's executive chef, Juan Garcia, comes from the kitchen at the Columbia Tower Club.
I know, we should go. We should do a live show from there, and we should hang out there all the time.
I don't know. It doesn't sound that bad.
God damn it, Alex. You signed up, didn't you?
So yeah, I think counter to what the collective believes about Seattle being a desert city of just a void of any culture, where people just mumble and shake to themselves while they clutch their cell phones. It's actually a flourishing, beautiful city where like-minded people do go, from point A to point B, and they recycle and throw their garbage away and compost. And that's sort of what I want to talk about. But I guess one of the things that I think is hilarious about Seattle is we love to do the good liberal thing, right? Like we're a liberal, capital L, and even if it really doesn't make a lot of sense or actually doesn't do anything, if we all do it and we think we're doing a good job, then it's like a fucking party.
And we love the minor inconveniences. Like a minor inconvenience.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what like composting is in the whole just garbage culture of Seattle, which is being very mindful of how you throw things away. That I think is hilarious. And I think that, so to give some context about the whole composting rule that we have now, is everyone in Seattle is required to compost. And back when they originally passed this ordinance, it was this hilarious sort of enforcement policy where you were supposed to compost, and the garbage men, they had special garbage trucks. It was the lawn garbage trucks, the one that you like lawn trimmings and stuff like that. They would come around and they would knife open all your garbage bags to check for
homeless people, right?
Children. No, to check to make sure that you were in fact following the rules that we passed. And the big rule was that you had a separate garbage can for your food trimmings and everything like that. And the funniest thing about this is that it doesn't really matter where you put your compost because it's going to biodegrade naturally anyway, right? So if it went to a giant garbage heap somewhere, it would just naturally degrade as biodegradable things do. But the whole idea was to collect it, process it, and then sell it to the community or something like that.
Where does it go?
Fertilizer.
It turns into topsoil or something?
I think it goes Eastern Washington.
It gets processed and then shipped back to Seattle, I suppose, because they use it for all the gardens and the parks, right?
I think it's the Cedar Grove brand or something. You can go buy. I think they get the gas too to like make power or something.
Methane gas, yeah, that's a very common thing with compost to harvest the methane.
But what I think is funny is I really do think that like people that are really into composting and the whole making sure that you're washing all your recyclables and following all the rules aren't really people that are environmentally, conscious. Like they don't really give a shit about, clean air or the Puget Sound really at all. Mainly, they just really like to follow rules. And it's really fun to have rules and to follow those rules, and then also to look down on people that don't follow the rules.
There you go. That's it right there.
You're describing Seattle.
Yeah. And you're better than them, basically.
Yes,
because they don't follow the rules, and you do, even when the rules are completely ridiculous, and require you to, like, obsessively clean your garbage and sort things out. Like, you would need to have some sort of, like, OCD or something like that to actually not violate any of the rules.
But this is the best part of our system. So, like, as soon as you step foot outside of King County, you do not see a compost bin anywhere, right? So here we have trash, recycling, compost, but the categories are like incredibly opaque and confusing. I have a picture at my house that Seattle Public Utilities sends of like what goes what, and every day I look at it and I'm like, where the fuck does this thing go? I have no idea. I'll just guess, right?
Well, you're probably like right on some level, but then wrong technically because it's coated with plastic,
right?
And then therefore goes in the recycle. And you're like, God, you can't win.
Yeah, you can't win.
Well, technically, right is the best kind of right. Okay, I don't know. I find I've never been confused, though. I have had roommates who were. I mean, you can't recycle a greasy pizza box.
Coffee cup.
Is it paper?
Yeah.
Then you could compost it. You could.
No, trash. See? This is
why?
Because it has some plastic bullshit
lining?
in it. Yeah. But
that's
like, how would you know that?
Yeah, that's why it's a waste.
No, but this has corn lining, so it is compostable.
Oh, then Seattle has all compostable utensils at restaurants now, or they're supposed to, but only half of them do.
Yeah.
So I'll get like a delivery and I'll be like, is this the biodegradable silverware or the plastic silverware they had left over?
I'm for that. The idea, I think the real problem is on a production level. It's that we make a bunch of disposable things out of plastic, which is, causing every manner of pollution you can imagine. So yeah, like replacing that some of that stuff with stuff that biodegrades is great, but yeah, it would do that in a landfill just fine. So great, love the compostable silverware. Don't care where it ends up.
And the funny thing is like I think back to before we had composting rules, and like in a large urban environment, the only people composting were just fucking weirdos, basically. like the smell of their own garbage or something. Or we're like just these kind of like off kilter people, like, oh, whatever, you're kind of a weird dude. You compost. And now it's all of us. We're all weirdos now, like locked into this weird culture.
Man, that's democracy. The weirdness has been imposed on all of us, and on some level, I'm okay with that as a way to distribute power in society.
Do you actually compost, Greg?
No, I don't.
But this like the solution, right, is make everything compostable or whatever and take it out, because when you cross-contaminate, it ruins everything. And so throughout Seattle, we have people throwing the wrong shit in their recycling or the wrong shit in a compost, and then that's just going to the landfill.
We just need to educate people, John.
and that's another thing too. Like you shouldn't have to like. It shouldn't take you more than a fraction of a second to know if something is compostable or not. Instead, it's just this debate. Like, well, shit.
No, right.
Like you look at it from.
Listen.
You kind of try to find a symbol maybe that says it's but everything has the recycle arrows, and you're like, but then it's category 3. Recycle.
I have a code. I follow my own code. Now, if that isn't the right answer by the law or the rules, well, that's what it is. But I at least follow a code, and that code says that the best way to get rid of biodegradable stuff is to throw it in a landfill. The best way to recycle glass is to throw it in the ocean, where it will be without any energy, any fossil fuels burned, any work from man, any sorting will be turned back into sand, which will then can be turned into glass. So
I like how you're like the Anton Chigurh of recycling. You have a code that you flip the coin and you call it.
Yeah, man.
Call it heads. Cycle.
Seattle Sucks tip. If you want to do the most environmentally sound way of recycling glass bottles, just throw them in
This
the
is
ocean.
not endorsed by all members of the Seattle Sucks podcast.
Do not do that. It'll wash back on shore and it'll cut my feet when I'm trying to walk
glass,
around.
as you can collect it as beach glass
to help it, and then throw the shards into the
it'll turn back into sand.
Just go to Golden Gardens, do this to your heart's content. That's what Greg said.
You gotta go out.
Just throw it into the sand directly. It's like,
you gotta go offshore a bit. You can't just throw it on the beach. You gotta go offshore. With Puget Sound, you get a few 100 yards off there. It gets really deep really fast, so you got to go offshore. I happen to live on a boat, so I should start a service.
You're volunteering.
I should start now, but the city takes it away, so but
you don't have to. You can go collect it yourself.
I could. Maybe I'll do that. Just a vigilante glass recycler.
People will think you're running one of those scams.
Guys, it's natural. It's nature's way of recycling glass.
You got your Trump hands up right now. We're not buying it.
I have another fun thing. So in downtown, right, there are public trash cans and that are green, and then there are recycling trash bins that are blue.
I thought it was
right?
the opposite.
Or whatever. I mean, but then one day I saw the trash guy come, and he emptied both of them into the trash truck, and you're like, oh yeah, no shit. A bunch of people are just throwing bullshit in the recycling. Why do we even do it? It's pointless.
It's theater.
It purely makes you feel good, and then it just goes straight to the landfill.
It makes a certain type of Seattle liberal feel good. Like, we did it. We passed the laws. We went through a process. We didn't. Here's the other. Yeah, we went through a process.
Which we didn't do for the head tax. Remember that.
Right. We went through a process, and we checked all the right boxes. We got all the stakeholders involved, and we passed a law, which is stupid on two levels. First of all, it is theater, and it's meaningless because, again, you could recycle glass by throwing it in the ocean, and shit biodegrades in landfills, and it's a fucking waste of time. What you need to do is attack things on the production side, which we're doing a little of too. But that's the thing. The things that are the only things that matter to pollution. But also because that leaves out the more important. Like, if you want to change society, you have to organize on a individual person level, and we haven't changed society in any particular way. Like I say, people are still throwing whatever the fuck they want in those recycling cans.
But that's the whole thing. People are just going to be people. Like, you can't turn everyone into a perfect robot of you do everything correct according to what I think is correct. And it's just sort of like, we need to let go of that and just be like, let people, if you want to compost, by all means, you should compost. If you don't want to, then that's fine. It's not going to make a big difference, right?
Well, here's the thing. I think it's like, there's a weird Seattle, like, liberal stronghold phenomenon happening here, where generally nationwide we have this with a lot of things, but the environmental movement is a perfect example where the political push has largely been about, over our lifetimes, been about encouraging people to make individual choices that are better for the environment, whether that's recycling, composting, using more efficient light bulbs, taking shorter showers, whatever. All these things. It's about encouraging individual action that, basically saying you can vote with your dollar to save the world. This is bullshit. It's absolutely untrue. Nothing you can do as an individual will make any difference.
Unless you stop eating meat.
Thank you.
It's really the only thing.
It really takes a social engagement. It takes a full society changing something to make a difference, to stave off global warming. We're going to have the entire globe change all industry. Okay, so you can't affect that as an individual. This is the example. So that's been the push nationwide, culture-wide for over our lifetimes. What's weird is, in a liberal, like, do-gooder stronghold like Seattle, we've taken that bad, stupid bullshit message of individual action and collectivized it to everybody. So in a way, it's like we want to do the right thing by taking large collective action, by actually changing the law, by making people change the way our society works, but we're only doing it it's like we listened to this big national voice and said, oh, this is the little bullshit that matters, and then we made everybody pretend to do that little bullshit. And that is like a weird liberal stronghold phenomenon.
That's a good point, because I wonder what the same liberals would think if you just started enacting large-scale action like that. Do you think there would be a pushback? Like the head tax, I know we talk about that a lot, but that's a good example, right? Like, instituting a tax on a specific, range of companies gets huge pushback, even from ostensibly liberal people, right? Yeah. But if we had a thing where, like, every individual person gets a democracy voucher, where then they fill out paperwork and follow more rules, and when the rules are followed, that money goes back to a certain, disadvantaged portion of the population.
Goes into an escrow.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but I have the feeling that people would like, or rather would enjoy, opting for the second one versus, like you said, like, actual large-scale mandated change, because I don't give a shit what my stuff is made of, and composting and everything, like you could just ban all plastic items and not tell me, and I would just, it wouldn't change my day at all.
Yeah.
But what changes my day now is like having to, drudge up my sink for all the weird scraps of old food and make sure they go in the right place. And then
You better not miss that pickup date, my friend.
oh my god, if you are out of town on a Monday, your apartment is gonna smell like a fucking like a mortuary. It's gonna be like there's gonna be flies everywhere. There's like a raccoon.
That's why
will be on the kitchen floor.
You
ants everywhere.
You have a counter compost bin, like one of those little ones.
I'm not a monster,
Formaldehyde,
no.
Alex. Formaldehyde. When you put in a
Spray it.
banana peel, when you put in that steak bone, just a few drops of formaldehyde, a few squirts from the formaldehyde bottle. No, to give Seattle credit though, we have passed a couple of production side laws that it's so plastic bags, the plastic grocery bags, those are actually
Those
this
are
happened when I
banned.
was out of town. So those are banned. See, that is that's a production level thing. That those are just an absolutely disposable plastic that is used once and it's absolutely an awful polluter. That's great. That's a production level thing. Getting rid of also the plastic to go containers and styrofoam stuff. That's a production level thing. That's good. I don't want to criticize that because I mean that's good. I think that stuff can end up in a landfill and it will turn into compost and then you can build a park on it. But yeah, credit, a little bit of credit where credit is due.
But a good coda to the compost conversation is this dude sued, saying you can't actually look in my trash or my compost. That's a violation. Constitutional right to privacy violation.
Fourth Amendment.
I don't know what he was arguing, but he won. So the city
awesome.
can't actually look into your trash to see if you're following the rules. So it's totally voluntary compliance at this point. Do what you want.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So that's good to know that I won't be fined for this.
Don't even worry about it.
What I'm doing for my glass overboard policy. Actually, that probably breaks some other laws.
Well, that was a nice little round table on some of the ridiculousness of everyday Seattle life. I thought we would sort of round out the episode by quickly checking in with, of course, Jeff Bezos, Bay himself.
Hey, J Bay, what up?
His Eminence.
Yeah, if I had the rights to play Baby You're a Rich Man Now, I would. Because just last week, thanks to some
Baby, you're a rich man.
Wheelings and dealings, he in 1 week made $3.3 billion with a B, and that is, I did the little math. The average home or median home price in Seattle is about $800,000. That's approximately 4,125 homes that Jeff Bezos
He won in the lottery
in a week.
The lottery, right?
The lottery.
Okay, wow.
It's pure lottery winnings, and so he's even richer than he was. He was already the richest man in the world, but now he's definitely the richest man in the world. And this all kind of happens at the same time when he was interviewed by, I don't know, he was given some bullshit award or something like that by GeekWire.
It just keeps happening.
Yeah, and the real talk about Jeff is like, Jeff, what are you going to do with your lottery winnings? And
So to speak.
Yeah, and so he's definitely committed to colonizing the moon. Which it's not like his Blue Origin thing where he's like about space tourism or something like that. His aim is to eventually have whole Amazon workhouses, or so I don't know what he's going to do, but basically HQ2 will be probably on terrestrial headquarters. But HQ3 will probably be in space, and it's perfect because there are no taxes in space. The moon has no income tax. It has no head tax. So what he's really looking for is like the next great business opportunity.
Jeff Bezos.
It's like a reservation. It's just like off the grid.
Yeah,
no rules.
The Amazon reservation.
And
Jeff Bezos is a Bond villain.
Yeah.
So I have a little clip queued up here in case you thought I was sort of maybe joking or being a little over the top about HQ3. This is Bay himself in his own words just last week.
So we will have to leave this planet, and we're going to leave it, and it's going to make this planet better. And we'll come and go, and people who want to stay will stay.
Who's going to leave it?
There'll be some restrictions here. It will end up being zoned light industry and residential.
And rich
people. And we'll move all heavy, dirty industry off Earth.
People.
Where, by the way, we will be able to do it much more effectively with 24/7 solar power. The Earth is not a very good place to do heavy industry. It's convenient for us right now. And then not too distant future, I mean, I'm talking, decades, maybe 100 years, it'll start to be easier to do a lot of the things.
This is a really bad AI demo.
This is not passing the Floyd contest.
All right, well, we talked over it enough here. So basically, he literally wants to ship workers into space.
No, he keeps talking
because
about
we're not
this.
really
Yeah.
meant. We're not really. I mean, like Earth's kind of a terrible place for humans. When you think
Yeah.
No.
Shit, you think Seattle sucks?
No, that's not his position. In this interview and in the previous ones we talked about, he specifically says Earth is the best place. He reiterates over and over again, Earth is the best place. There's all these planets in the solar system. He'll say in the same interview, he'll say they're all terrible places. This is the best place. That's why we have to protect this place. And to do that, we have to ship billions of people off this planet and reserve it for a select few is the, not even really conspiratorial implication. That is what he's saying.
That is the text. It's
Isn't
not
this
the
the
subtext.
plot of The Expanse, where you have a worker?
Yeah, or
planet?
Elysium or whatever.
It is exactly like that. Yeah, it's like that. Is it an Amazon show? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, The Expanse. It just got picked up by Amazon.
Okay, so it's not a great show because it has these political ideas and things that are.
Now we're critiquing The Expanse.
You brought it up. It is about a future world where
I haven't watched it.
People, where all over the asteroid belt, people are born and live and die working in heavy industry in space. He literally says we need to have, and he said billions. He's like, we need to have billions of people.
I think he says trillions eventually.
Yeah. Living in space and working in space. You can't, and he said, you can't commute billions or trillions of people living and working in space.
Not
okay?
Not yet.
Well, Jeff
No,
himself,
no.
people will come and go according to certain restrictions.
Yeah. What he's talking about is reserving the jewel planet, this beautiful planet, for, just some people who live in residential zones where there's no industry, so people who don't work in industry.
Yeah, as he says in one of these interviews, his great-great-grandchildren or something.
Yeah,
they will inherit the Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And everyone else, he's literally talking about people being born, living, and dying in space. And it's insanely terrifying. It'll never happen. He's an idiot. It'll never happen.
It's
but
not gonna happen.
But that tells you about the mindset of people like him, of these billionaires. Either he thinks of that as a great way to exploit people, which is why he loves the idea so much. I don't think it's even that. It's that he is totally detached from human reality.
Yes.
Because what he would tell you if you put this to him, which no one will, because you can't get to him with a real question like this.
Yeah.
But what I imagine he would say if I confronted him with this idea of people living as slaves in a hellish, dystopic existence as gears in a machine of space industry on an asteroid somewhere by the billions, I think he would say, no, technology will solve those problems in the future. No, it would be different. And no, we can make life good for people in space. That's what we're doing and investing in. Which would tell you, and I'm putting these words in his mouth, but he said things that indicate that these people think that the nature of capitalism is like a momentary thing. It's just happening now. Yes, I, Jeff Bezos, right now exploit every worker that I possibly can. I find every efficiency, no matter what it is. I pay our workers in warehouses as little as possible, and I fight their right to organize, and I don't let them take bathroom breaks and treat them like shit. Oh, but in the future, when people are born, live, and die in space, all for capitalism, for industry, because we've learned to monetize space. Well, the way we think about it will be different. That'll be the future. So we won't want, no one would even think in the future of murderously exploiting people, even though you're talking about it's for the purpose of making money. It's part of the rationalization of capitalism, is saying, no, this is something I have to do now because I'm creating something. He thinks of himself as a creator. He's at war with the world to create something beautiful and poetic and special. It's not. But that's why, in his mind, this is like a temporary thing. These compromises of morality are there for a larger purpose that he thinks will be realized someday. What he doesn't understand is that this is the very nature of all capitalism, that it's just fucking exploitation. There is no tomorrow.
Yeah, no, you're right on about that. I don't know if he's maybe as cynical as you're characterizing him.
I think he believes this. That's the thing.
Yes, I think he believes that, but I think now he probably thinks, well, at least those people in my warehouse have a job.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he doesn't even have moral problems with the way those people are treated now. So
I think he's able to rationalize that for sure. No, in all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
But I suspect he thinks that in the future, for some reason, it'll be different.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't understand ultimately that it's about exploitation.
Yeah.
He can't let himself understand that, because if he did, then he would
realize
what he was flood doing. Back onto him into his own faith. Yeah. He'd see himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then we want to play one more. I'm just indulging myself here and playing one more clip of Jeff.
Indulge
away. This is specifically, I think, maybe speaks to a lot of the growth issues that Seattle is going through.
We could defend this planet, but the alternative is stasis. We will have to stop growing, which I think is a very bad future. It's not the future that I want for my grandchildren or my grandchildren's grandchildren. I doubt anybody in this room wants that for their descendants. We have ever improving lives in large part because we use ever expanding amounts of energy. And you can take baseline energy uses on Earth.
That's basically the whole thing is like, we need to keep growing. We can't stop growing. Any impediment to growth is stasis, and that's evil. And it's like, no, like it's not. Like it just stasis is fine. It's about living your life and enjoying the fucking 80 years you have on this planet. It's not about obsessing about, making everything a living hell for everyone. It's like, like people who like just obsess about growth and jobs, and it's like, try living in a neighborhood where a house gets torn down every other week and you have to listen to a fucking construction site 24/7. I swear to God, in Seattle you can drill away until 10 p.m. at night. It just doesn't stop.
That's life in the city, man. It's bustling.
It's bustling.
You gotta hustle to get in flow with that bustle.
Driving over nails and all kinds of weird shit, and there's like pollutants in the air constantly because they're
sounds like you need
everything.
A collective membership.
You're
real stressed out.
All those people who are losing their homes and ending up on the street every day, their lives are improving every year.
Absolutely, yeah. All these suicides that we're having, like.
Yeah, everybody's life is getting better.
Is so much better because it's ended. That's why
he's talking about life on Earth is getting better. See, to him, all those other people, the 90% of America, the 98% of humanity whose lives are getting worse all the time, to him, those people are already in outer space, man. They're like I just need to find a way to get them there. Yeah. Just fucking get rid of them.
Yeah, they're abstract.
We're going to rezone this shit, man.
Well, yeah. Do you want to say anything?
This is neither here nor there. I just thought in that clip, you can hear the people like eating their little lunches. You hear the silverware. And I was just like, all those people are just like, there he goes, talking about space again. I'm just eating my overcooked fish.
They're
what I mean? Like, no one takes this shit seriously.
Everyone in that room, they've got stock in Amazon. It just went up, which is why he's $3 billion richer. And they're like, yep, you keep talking that stupid jive because it's better than... You could be saying a lot more inflammatory shit, Jeff. I mean, it's inflaming me, clearly. But most people, it's like, he's talking about space, whatever. He could be... He could be doing a lot dumber shit, but right now their stock price is going up. It's, insanely overvalued beyond all reason, but, whatever.
All right, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Remember, subscribe, rate 5 stars, hit us up on Twitter. We're at Seattle Sucks Pod, and the website. We have our own website, seattle.sucks. Yep, that's
tell your friends.
.com, just .sucks, and tell your friends.
For those of you who have them.
Yeah, the podcast is growing. We looked at the numbers, right, Colin?
Yeah.
Our last episode was
the numbers are going up. We're winning the podcast lottery.
When are we going to start charging for this shit?
On that note, I just want to say I will see you guys all in Xandor Sector 5, a prefect of Work Zone 7 on Asteroid Belt RC, AWS 42.
That recycled air.
Yeah. It is so good.
Being born